Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sotonye Afiesimama and this is Today in History for the 10th of July. Right, let's get started. Let's roll back the curtain to the year 48 BC. So it's between the years 48 BC and 44 BC. But on this day in 48 BC, we had the Battle of Dyrrachium. Julius Caesar, on this day, barely avoids a catastrophic defeat to Pompey, which was not far away from Dyrrachium. I'll show you where Pompey is located. So just study that map. You can see Dyrrachium there, right in the middle of the map, and Rome there, obviously the capital of Italy, and that's Italy there, modern day Italy. So let's move on to the next image, and that's where Pompey is located, and Dyrrachium. So Julius Caesar on this day narrowly avoids not just a defeat but a catastrophic defeat on this day. So let's move on to the year 988. The city of Dublin is founded on the banks of the river Liffey. So Liffey. 1040. Lady Godiva rides naked on horseback through Coventry. Now, why would she do this? I'll explain. The simple reason was apparently taxes were high in that area, presumably in Coventry, and she wanted to force her husband, who was the Earl of Mercia, to lower taxes. So the only way she knew how was to ride naked through Coventry on horseback. So that event happened on this day in 1040. Did she succeed? Go find out, guys. Louis-François Roubiliac's monument on this day in 1762 to George Frideric Handel was unveiled at Westminster Abbey in London. 1775, Horatio Gates issues order excluding African Americans from the Continental Army. July 10th, 1927. What happened on this day? David Dinkins was born. He was mayor of New York City from the years 1990 to 1993. He is credited with leading the city in a dramatic decrease in crime while he was mayor. So he was born in New Jersey and attended high school in New Jersey. After that, joined the Marines. He was part of the historic Montford Point Marines, who were later awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, which was approved on November 23rd, 2011. Dinkins entered and graduated from Howard University in Washington, D.C. after leaving the Marines. He then received his law degree from Brooklyn Law School. Before being elected mayor, Dinkins was the Borough President of Manhattan. He became professor of public affairs at Columbia University after leaving the office of mayor. Now, this dramatic decrease in crime while he was mayor, it struck a chord with me because I listened to this video by Malcolm Gladwell on his book, The Tipping Point, which was released in the year 2000. So go check it out. It's quite an interesting book. But in that book, he talks about the broken windows theory, which he popularized, And his theory was that, obviously, he didn't just come up with this theory. He had made observations and he did his research and found out that this was true. So essentially, if a neighborhood that's ridden with crime is renovated, is made to look good, so the broken windows are fixed, car windows that were smashed in were, repaired, the streets were tidied up, the crime tended to reduce drastically. So it just so happens that when this observation was made by Malcolm Gladwell, he referred to the 90s in New York City And that's exactly when this mayor, I believe, was in charge. Like it says here, he is credited with leading the city in a dramatic decrease in crime. So he would have used this broken windows theory to help solve the crime problem that New York had in the early 90s. So, yeah, so that's David Dinkins for you. First African-American mayor of New York City. And to date, he's been the only African-American mayor of New York City. Let's move on to the year 1934, where the first sitting US president visited South America, and his name was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And that South American country was Colombia. 1938, on this day, Howard Hughes, pictured right here, flies around the world in 91 hours. So he was an aviator, and that historic flight happened in 1938 on this day. 1942, Himmler orders sterilization of all Jewish women in Ravensbrück camp. Now, Himmler was one of the most powerful men in Nazi Germany and a main architect of the Holocaust. Himmler formed the Einsatzgruppen and built extermination camps. As facilitator and overseer of the concentration camps, Himmler directed the killing of some 6 million Jews, between 200,000 and 500,000 Romani people and other victims. The total number of civilians killed by the regime is estimated at 11 to 14 million people. Most of them were Polish and Soviet citizens. Horrible, horrible, horrible man. 1944, on this day, the father of Medicare, Tommy Douglas, becomes the 7th Premier of Saskatchewan. 1971, National Women's Political Caucus, the NWPC, was founded in the US by women including Bella Abzug, Betty Friedan, Shirley Chisholm, Merle Evers Williams, and Gloria Steinem. 1976, on this day, 1 American and 3 British mercenaries are executed in Angola following the Luanda trial. I did touch on this as well in one of my videos about a week ago. So go check it out. I guess these guys wanted to, or were in support of those who wanted to overthrow the government, and they were tried and executed. Most of them were jailed. There were about 13 of them, I believe, most of whom got jail terms ranging from 20 to 40 or 50 years. Can't remember the exact figure. But yeah, so these guys were executed on this day after the trial that happened about a week before. Right, let's move on to the year 1978. On this day, World News Tonight premieres on ABC with Max Robinson, pictured here. He was the first black anchor on a network newscast in the United States. We move on to the year 1982 and Samuel Morse's Gallery of the Louvre. It's a painting. If you have noticed, it sells for $3,250,000. Wow, that's a lot of money. The year 2000, Coldplay releases their debut album, Parachutes. It goes on to win the Grammy Award Best Alternative Album 2 years later. On the same day, same year, we had the 10th ESPY Awards. Tiger Woods and Venus Williams win. 2011, British tabloid News of the World publishes its last edition after 168 years in the wake of a phone hacking scandal. Yeah, this was big news in the United Kingdom nearly 10 years ago. So News of the World, last day, 2011 on this day. 2015, on this day, the Confederate flag, which has brought a lot of joy to some and a lot of grief to others, was taken down for the last time from South Carolina Capitol grounds. One day after the state legislature ordered it removed. So I'll take that again. The Confederate flag on this day in 2015 was taken down for the last time from South Carolina Capitol grounds 1 day after the state legislature ordered it removed. The Confederate flag is a flag that was used by the seceded southern states who call themselves the Confederate States of America during the Civil War. While some argue that the Confederate flag is a statement of Southern pride, over the years it has come to be viewed by many as an offensive and racist symbol. Now, I'll explain this to the best of my ability. They saw this flag as offensive and racist in the South because those who seceded from the Union at the time seceded, I think, because they were not in support of the fact that the northern half of the United States had abolished slavery. They wanted to carry on with slavery, and hence that connection was made with the Confederate flag and oppression of slaves. So that's why most African Americans do not see the Confederate flag in positive light. Also, this is a flag that the Ku Klux Klan have used as their symbol in times past. They've waved the flag and marched to Washington, D.C. I did see a picture of them holding up the flag. So it does make sense that the vast majority of African Americans do not like this flag because to them it's a symbol for oppression, you know. So I'll carry on reading. So following a mass shooting where white supremacists Dylan Roof murdered 9 black Americans during an evening Bible study in a South Carolina church, Haley deemed that the flag had been hijacked and it was removed from the South Carolina State House crowned permanently. So this guy who murdered 9 black Americans was a white supremacist, and this event happened in South Carolina. So this is a flag that they would fly, you know, the white supremacists. I did mention the Ku Klux Klan as well. Okay, who, you know, are all in the same group. So we should all get along. We should all get along, black, white, brown, Asian, wherever you are, mulatto, mixed race, we're all human beings. There's no need to kill each other. There's no need to say that one race is better than each other. We're all the same. We still all got the same red blood flowing underneath our skin. So we should all try and get along, you know? There's no point of all this hatred, blacks to whites and whites to blacks. Does not make sense at all. 2017 on this day, NASA's Juno spacecraft makes closest ever pass over Jupiter's Great Red Spot at 9,000 kilometers overhead. 2018 on this day, Drake surpasses the Beatles' record of most singles in Billboard Hot 100 with 7 against their 5 from his album Scorpion. So that's Drake for you, receiving his Grammys. 2018 also, Real Madrid forward Cristiano Ronaldo joins Italian champions Juventus in a deal worth £99.2 million. Wow. Becoming one of the 4 most expensive players of all time. For those of you who are watching this from America, £99.2 million, let's call it £100 million, would be about $125 million. Last but not least, this beautiful lady, Taylor Swift. On this day, exactly 365 days ago, she is named the world's highest paid entertainer by Forbes. She earned, wait for this, drum roll, $185 million in 1 year. $185 million in 2018. That was what she earned the previous year. So on that note, we wrap it up for today in history. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow, the 10th of July, tomorrow the 11th of July, pardon me, for today in history. Take care of yourselves, stay safe. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the video, in spite of my Freudian slips here and there. And also subscribe by clicking the notification bell so that you get notifications of my video uploads. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, July 11th. Bye-bye.